साद्वतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य तोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। We are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, chapter 47, verse number 23. This is Uddhava delivering the message of Sri Krishna to the gopis after he heard the Chitra Jalpa of Srimati Radharani. So in the previous verse, Sri Sukdev said that after hearing this Chitra Jalpa, then Uddhava, he gave the message to the gopis who were very eager to see Krishna. So Sri Uddhava Uvacha. So first he praises them. He does not give the message immediately, but he first praises them because he was so impressed by their devotion. So he says, Aho yuyam sma purnartha bhavatyo loka pujitaha vasudeve bhagavati yasam ityarpitam manaha. So he says that indeed this is a great wonder to see you who are purnartha, so who have attained perfection Artha means goal or the object of achievement, and Purna means complete. So you have attained the object of life, or you are Purna and Artha, you are complete in yourself, and you are Artha, you are actually the object, means your mood, your bhav is that which is to be acquired by everyone else. So here in the material world everybody is Purna or incomplete, because we are separated, or we have the feeling of separation or loneliness because of not being united to Krishna in devotion. So completeness comes from him, because he is Purna. Purnam Adaya Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. And if we forget him, then we remain Apurna, and no matter what you try to acquire, which everybody is trying, you still remain Apurna or incomplete or empty. So in the material world everyone has this feeling of emptiness, more or less, sometimes more, generally more. So this is because the completeness, fulfillment comes only from bhakti. This is what Bhagavatam said in the very beginning, that apratihatayatma samprasidati. So samprasad or fulfillment comes only from bhakti, not for anything else. So therefore it says, you are Purna. Why? Vasudeve Bhagavati Yasam Arpitam Mana. That you have offered your mind unto Vasudeva, who is Bhagavan. So emptiness is actually in the mind, because no matter what you give to the mind, it always feels that something is missing, something is lacking. Even it feels fulfilled for some time, like when you eat food you feel full, but after some time you are again empty. So mind is also like that. It's also a sense. So it is never filled unless it is filled with bhakti. So that's why Krishna says the essence is manmana bhavamad bhakta. So gopis are the highest ideal for that. Therefore he says loka pujita, that you are worshipable. Not pujita generally is ta in the bhutkal, means as if they were worshipped or worshipable in the past. But this is also used something which is permanent. So they are worshipable by everyone, not only on earth but throughout the universe. And the reason is Vasudeva Bhagavati Yasam Arpitam. So that only is the goal to be acquired, and that only brings perfection, fulfillment, happiness. All problems are solved by that. Otherwise there will always be some lack, some lacuna in one's life. So ahoiti, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti says, Sma nunam yuyam purnartha kritartha. You are purnartha or kritartha, means you have attained perfection. People say what is perfection, or somebody is siddha purusha, etc. So this is the siddhi, that tasmadekena mansa bhagavan satvatam pati srotavya kirtitavyasya dheya pujyasya nityada. So mind has got so many things to think of, meditate on, but it should actually be fixed only on Satvatam Pati. One-pointed attention should be put on him, and that will bring all perfection. So he says, कृतार्था यासाम mana iti evam prakarena bhagavati arpitam iti anvaya. So this is because you have put your mind on Bhagavan. And that also evam prakarena means the way he just now witnessed, because he had a direct experience of their mood, their devotion. It is not that he has heard or he has read, but he personally witnessed it. So therefore he says evam prakarena, that in this way अन्येषाम अपि भक्तानां मनो भगवती अर्पितं दृढ़ं किम tu evam prakarena tu न दृष्टम इति भाव. So he says that he has not seen anyone else, any other devotee whose mind is fixed like this on Bhagavan. So there are so much gradation or variety of devotees, but there is no one who compares to them. So that's why he is speaking, because he himself is a great devotee. He is very intimate friend of Krishna, servant of Krishna. He is also his cousin. So he is not ordinary person. And if he is putting his stamp, then it has to be something wonderful. So that's why he says that you are Purnartha. And he gives the reason for that, why they Purnartha. So it's not just praising, because many times when we praise, it's usually there is some exaggeration, but that is not the case here. So people perform various types of activities, as he says here, but the purpose is to attain bhakti. He says dana vrata tapo homa japa swadhyaya sanyamaihi shreyo bhir vividhaischanyai krishno bhaktirhi sadhyate. So the activity of charity, fasting, austerity, doing yajna, chanting of mantras, studying of shastra, controlling of the senses, or any other spiritual activity, religious activity, he says by all these things the only thing to be attained is Krishna bhakti. Krishna bhaktirhi sadhyate. Means charity is not just because you do charity and then you can go to heaven, etc. But the ultimate goal of all these things is actually bhakti only. They are prescribed for that purpose. As Narada Rishi has said in the very beginning, idam hi punsas tapsas srutasya va sustasya suktasya cha buddhi dattayo. So avichyuto artho kabibhi nirupito yaduttam sloka gunanuvarnanam. So he says that this actually is the avichyuta artha, infallible attainment by any of these activities, whether it is tapasya, study, or worship, recitation of stotras, or charity, etc. So avichyuto artho hi kavibhir nirupito yaduttam sloka gunanuvarnanam. So this is the supreme thing, means that whatever one does, its purpose should be only devotion and not anything else. Yat karosi yad asmasi yad juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi konte tat kurusva madarpanam. So Narayanaya samarpayati yat. So it be done offering. So Krishna bhaktirhi sadhyate. Otherwise it does not have any permanent benefit. So he says danadi bhi sadhanai Krishna bhakti sadhyate. So by charity and all these activities which are stated here, It is only bhakti which is to be attained. But how can it be attained? So then he describes that how the charity etc. should be done. In third canto, Kapila Dev, he describes the different objects or goal or person to whom the charity can be done. And the highest is God. Before that Vaishnavas, Brahmanas, so on. So the ultimate object of charity is Bhagavan himself. So therefore he says, Dhanam Vishnu Vaishnav Sampradanakam. That charity should be done for Vishnu and Vaishnavas. So that will lead to bhakti, not any other charity. And Vratam Ekadashyadikam, Vratam, fasting. So it should be Ekadasi, Janmashtami, Ramnami, etc. related to Bhagavan. Otherwise there are so many other types of vratas people are doing. Now they are also doing intermittent fasting. That is also vrata. And tapaha krishnartha bhoga tyagadi. So tapa means to give up objects of enjoyment for the sake of Bhagavan and not independently. Homo Vaishnava, Homa or Yaga is also for the pleasure of Vishnu. Japa Vishnu Mantranam. Japa should be done of mantras of Vishnu. Swadhyayo Gopal Tapanyadi Patha. Swadhyaya means study of Shastra, especially study of Veda is called Swadhyaya. Swadhyayo Adhyetavya. That is statement discussed very much in Purvamimamsa. So there the word Swadhyaya means Vedic study. So he says you should study Gopal Tapani Upanishad. Upanishad which are directly describing Krishna's activities. Shreyamsi api bhakti angani eva gyani. So therefore he says that all these auspicious activities, they should also be those which are part of bhakti and not others. Anyesham danadinam bhakti hetutva bhavasya prak pratipaditvat. But if there are these activities of charity, chanting of mantras, yajna, austerity, study, which are not related to bhakti, then they are not going to give you any lasting benefit. Some material benefit will come from them, but not the ultimate benefit. So they will also not be fulfilling ultimately. Bhagavati uttama shloke bhavati bhiranuttama bhakti pravartita dishtya muninam api durlabha. So he is praising their devotion. He says that you have executed unparalleled bhakti to Bhagavan Uttam Sloka. And you are propagating it to others. So, pravartita dishtya muni namapi durlabha. Says this bhakti is durlabha or rare even for the sages. So even they cannot attain this type of bhakti because they are limited by so many rules and regulations. But you have absolutely no conditioning or obstruction. You have given up yourself fully. And thus you are actually the examples or ideal from whom others should learn. Bhavatinam bhaktistu anya eva. So it says that your devotion is of other type, sarva vilakshana. It is different from everyone else. So Lakshana means characteristic. Lakshate anini, the Lakshana by which you understand something, that is called Lakshana. And Vilakshana is generally used for something which is unique. But literally means that its Lakshana is different, Vishesh Lakshana from everything else. So your bhakti is separate, that is Anyabhilashita Sunyam, that is Uttama Bhakti. So, and obviously this bhakti is to Bhagavan, because bhakti can also be to the Devas, can be to Shiva, to Parvati, to Ganesh, Durga, Bhairava, Sunny Dev, in Kokilavan, big crowd now every Saturday in Vraj. So many types of bhakti is there. So, but this is bhakti to Bhagavan. And it is Anuttama Sarvashrestha. So this is supreme, because no one else can sacrifice like them as they have sacrificed. So pravartita iti pragiyam nasit parantu bhavati nam ragatmikam bhakti manusritya eva raganuga bhaktir lokehi kriyamana pracharishyati ityartha. So Uddhava is saying that actually you are propagating this type of bhakti now because it was not known before. So Raganuga bhakti is propagated by them because they are ragatmika. So your bhakti is ragatmika, and following your ideal, people here in this world will execute Raganuga bhakti. So this will happen in future. Therefore you are the pravartakas, you are the propagators of this Uttama bhakti here in the material world. So Uttama bhakti is not known. There are many sampradayas of bhakti, but those bhaktis are generally mixed with varnashrama or moksha, idea of liberation. So this is Anyabhilashita Sunyam. This is Gyan Karmadi Anavritam. This is not mixed with anything else. So that is why he says that this is Anuttama, that it is superior to anything else, Sarvashrestha. And then others can also take to it by your example. So pravartita asamshayam bhutvacha iti nishtha. So pravartita is also again tapratyaya, which is nishtha, or it is used in past tense, means as if it happened in the past. But he says here it is asamshayam, means he is expecting that this will happen in future. So that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction that he will come and propagate pravartit. That's the meaning of pravartam. So dishtya lokanam ati bhagyena, and it is by the great fortune of people here in the material world that they got the fortune to see your devotion or understand it here. So this is actually the whole idea behind Krishna's Prakat-līlā. Tadrishi bhaste krida yad sattva tatparo bhavet, that he performs his activities by hearing which one can become devoted to him, tatpara. So without the gopis, no one can understand what is Uttama Bhakti. without understanding their mood, their mind, their devotion, it is not possible to understand Uttama Bhakti. So that is what we understand from Uddhava's statement. Because Uddhava is the one who is, even if they are performing, it is Uddhava who understood and then who speaks about it. Because if he does not speak, then okay, they came, so many great souls have come on earth, they have performed devotion, they go. If nobody talks about them, nobody writes about them, then how one will know later on once they are gone? Maybe people who are present, the contemporary people may know, but the posterity will not know. So this is Uddhava's contribution, and this is the purpose of Krishna sending him here, because as we read earlier that he was the one whom Krishna thought as qualified. Because to understand their mood one also has to be qualified, otherwise people will think, why are they speaking like this? What is this? They are married and then they are thinking of him. So like big controversies going on now here in Vrindavan. Big meetings are happening because somebody said that Radharani was married. Not to Krishna but to someone else. So now he is banned. If he comes here, he will be beaten up. So many resolutions are being passed. So many people are fired up. So if such a person was sent here, he is not going to understand the mood of the gopis. So that's why Uddhava was highly learned and suitable person, and he was a great devotee of Krishna, so he would not misunderstand. Otherwise people can also misunderstand, and it happens. So that's why he says that this is the great fortune of people, which is actually the great grace of Krishna on us, that he arranged for this to happen. Because if he will not go to Mathura, then also we will not know this. So it is because of the mood of separation that this thing is understood. Bhakti, so he says that Muni Nam api Durlabha, that it's not available even to the great sages. That's why they also pray to the gopis. Dishtya putran patin dehan swajanan bhavnani cha hitva vrinita yuyam yat krishnakhyam purusham param. So he says that it is by great fortune that you have given up your children, husband, your own body, which means not caring for it, and your relatives and houses, etc., everything, and you have just accepted Krishna as Param Purusha. So he is the Supreme Person, the one who is known as Krishna. So this is a very simple thing. We can read it and we also think like we are also like that. We have also given up house, we have also given up. Isn't it? People think like that. So what is the difference? Once I went to Maharaj, I was going there every day, then I sat and he says, Prabhu, he will talk like that. There was one devotee from UK, and he said that he was asking me this question, that what is the difference between you and me? He was asking Maharaj this question, what is the difference between you and me? You gave up your house, I also gave up my house. You did not marry, I am also not marrying. You served your Guru, I am also serving you, so what is the difference? So he was telling me this. And he was laughing. So it looks like that we have also given up things, and so we are also great devotees. It happens. When you come to bhakti, you start following little sadhana, then you think you are very elevated. Right? It's like in Madhurya Kadamini Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, when he is talking about Anishtita Bhakti, so he talks about that in the beginning the person takes to bhakti, then he is, what is it called? Utsaha. So he's very enthusiastic. Utsahamayi. That is the first stage. And after some time, when he gives the example that it's just like you start studying something, so you study, like you start learning Sanskrit grammar, so you're very enthusiastic in the beginning. But every day, even if you get 5 sutras, after 1 month you got 150 sutras to memorize. And then every day you're getting 5 more. And then you start becoming, says, what is this one? Will I get break from this? So it becomes Ghanatarla, then up and down. So this kind of mood comes. You learn a little bit, very enthusiastic, I also know now. But you don't know there is an ocean lying in front of you, there is no end of it. Go on studying it. But in the beginning you don't see the ocean. So you learn a little bit, and then you fire it up. So therefore he says, Dishtya putran patin dehan swajanan bhavnani cha hitva vranita. So one may ask that why is saying that he gave up? They did not give up anything. In fact, we are better, we actually gave up. Gopis did not give up their house, they are living in their home, they did not give up their children or husband or anything. People give up and Bhāvaiya bhikshu charyam charanti. They come and live here in Vrindavan. So why is he saying that they have given up when actually they have not? So this is important to understand, that how their bhakti is difficult to understand. People say bhakti is easy. It's good to say like that, because then you can take to bhakti, otherwise you will not take to that. So praise is important. It's actually easy also. But to reach to it, to understand it, that is very difficult. Sometimes I think that it's just like there is a temple on top of a mountain, and your seva is that you just go and sweep the floor, or even just turn on the light every morning and water tulsi. That's all your seva. Is that very difficult? But difficult is rising, going there, walking up in the heat. So to come to that point of bhakti, becoming free from the anarthas, that is a very difficult period. Once you cross that, then it's not difficult. Susukham kartum avyayam. Krishna himself says that it is susukham kartum, because it's most natural thing. But it's difficult when we are unnatural, when we have all these attachments, children, wife, house, boyfriend, girlfriend, money, job, country, my own body. It says dehan. How they say dehan grihitva? Did they give up their body? So therefore giving up here is not physically giving up, but giving up the asakti, attachment which is the biggest obstacle. Obstacle is, otherwise so many people give up their family and come to Vrindavan, but do they really become devotees? So this is the process of bhakti which he is describing here, that how bhakti is executed. So the gopis were staying wherever they were staying. By seeing them, they do not look like that they are great devotees, but they are the greatest. Why? Vrinita Krishnakhyam Purusham Param, because you have chosen to serve Krishna, who is the Param Purusha. So putradin mamta aspadani tyaktva. So therefore he brings this point here, that you have given up all this putra, pati, etc., children, husband. So what is the meaning? He says mamta aspadani, that these are the object of our attachment, mamata, mamatva, our minus. So we have that strings attached to them, very fine. Like you take this lotus stem and you break it. So you can see they are completely separated. But in between there are very fine threads which are attached. So if you see from far away, you will see them two separate pieces, but you come close and there are these fine threads, because they don't break. So attachment is like that, because it's only in the mind, it's not visible. You can sit here in Vrindavan, shave head, change your dress, but where are the threads, strings? Those are not visible to others. So that's what he says, that mamta aspadani tyaktva, that you have given up this. And Krishna abhidhanam param purusham swasambhoktritvena yat avranita. And you have accepted Krishna, this supreme person called Krishna. So there may be other supreme person, Rama, Narasimha, Narayana, Vishnu, they are all param purusha, but Krishna akhya param purusha. And what you have chosen, selected, accepted is swasambhoktritvena. You have accepted him, that he is your enjoyer. Means you are meant for him, not for anyone else. You are meant to give pleasure to him. So you do not have any agenda, any plan to enjoy yourself independently. So this is the bhakti which they established and they showed and propagated. Etad drishtya mamata mama ati bhagyenaiva. So he says that it is my great fortune that I have met you. So now he is realizing his great fortune, that Krishna sent him here, that he has seen something which he would not have seen otherwise. Sarvatma bhavo adhikrito bhavati namadhokshaje virahena mahabhaga mahan me anugraha krita. So now furthermore, he says that you have accepted Sarvatma Bhav in Bhagavan Adhokshaja. Means everything you have dedicated for his seva. That is Sarvatma Bhava Adhikrita. So Bhava means existence. And in the material world, our Bhava is this Prithak Bhava, this nature or mood or sentiment of being independent from Krishna, independent, Prithak. and their bhav is only for him, sarvatma bhav. So this is the gist of it, that they have absolutely no other bhav but bhav for Sri Krishna. And says that this mood of separation which I am experiencing in you, this is the greatest blessing I have attained in my life. Virahena mahabhaga mahan me anugraha krita. Saying that you most fortunate ones, you have done supreme welfare to me by this mood of viraha. Because only in this mood he could see the ultimate devotion to Krishna, and what it actually means to be devoted to him. So it is a big education for him, and as I said earlier, this is actually the big education for us. So these statements of Uddhava are very important because he is speaking from his own experience which he personally witnessed. He is actually teaching us the supreme devotion, Raganuga Bhakti. And this is the mood, how it should be. That's why I said that you are the examples and you are propagating it, and everybody should follow this. So nanu vayam dharmam tyaktva yat parapurusham vritavattyah tatra bhavata kim bhagyam abhut. So as if gopis are asking this question to him, that O Uddhava, we have abandoned our dharma and we have accepted another person. So how can this be a great fortune for you? Because our act is not even religious. And you are saying that this is a great fortune for you. So then he replies, Sarvatma bhavena. Adhokshaje annehi pratakshi kartum asakye Sri Krishna. Prema eva tavad durlabha. So he says that you have this Sarvatma bhav towards Adhokshaja. Adhokshaja means one who is not visible to the senses, one who is not perceivable to our senses. So that itself is a difficult thing, that he is Adhokshaja. You are choosing somebody who is beyond sense perception and offering everything to him. So how rare is that? So pratakshi kartum api ashakye. So he says that for others he is invisible, but you have offered everything to him. So how great you are. Because others cannot even have his darshan, cannot understand him even if they see him. And to that person you are devoted. And then devotion is also not just devotion, but supreme devotion. So it says, Sri Krishna prema eva tavad durlabha bhavti nam tu sarvatma bhava. He says it is very rare to have prema for Krishna, but you have not only prema, but you have sarvatma bhava. Means you have the ultimate limit of prema. Sarvatmana sarvenaiva swarupena sahita paripurnoya bhava samhabhava. So sarvatma bhava, he explains or comments here, means as mahabhava, because it includes everything. Sarvenaiva swarupena sahita. So sarva means everything, means all the varieties of prema, pranaya, man, sneha, or sneha, pranaya, man. Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, they have different way of putting it. And then raga, anuraga, bhava, mahabhava. So that is the sarvatma bhava. So you have attained that which people do not even get rati or bhav, not to speak of mahabhav. Suryo yatha sarvastapa sankramane vyapnoti, Chandro yatha sarvan shaitya sankramane vyapnoti, तथा यह सर्वान् स्वधर्म संक्रमणेन अतति व्याप्नोति इति सर्वात्मा च असौ भावश्चैति स इति श्लेषेण तल्लक्षणमपि प्रकटीकृतम्. So he says, just like sun when it comes out, so then it warms up everything. Tapa sankramena, it spreads it heat all around. And when moon comes, then it spreads its cooling rays all around. Satya sankramena. So in the same way, your bhav is sarvatma bhav, that it encompasses everything. Sarvan swadharma sankramena atati vyapnoti. So this mahabhav is powerful like the sun, and it spreads into everything. Means your prema, your sneha, your man, your pranay, everything is pervaded by this sarvatma bhav. All your activities, they are pervaded by that. So therefore they do not do anything for themselves, because this mahabhav is Krishna Priti, highest manifestation. So it moves only towards him. And sarvatma cha asau bhavascha iti sa sleshena tallakshanam api praktikritam. So this sarvatma bhav is, he says, by shlesha or by pun, it is also explaining the characteristic of mahabhav, because it is sarvatma, means the complete bhav. Yaduktam, as it is described, anuragaha samvedya dasham prapya prakashitaha yavad ashraya vritti syad bhava iti abhidhiyate. So he says that when anurag attains its samvedya dasa, means realizing itself, and manifests yavad ashraya vritti, means manifesting from rati up to the bhav platform, that is called bhav or mahabhav. Such a mahabhava premno saptamo vilasa. So this is the seventh state of prema. So from prema to sneha, man, pranay, rag, anurag, and then bhav, mahabhav. So that is the seventh state. Bhavati nam na tu anyasam lakshmyadi nam api ityartha. So the word bhavati nam here, that you, bhavati nam adhokshaje, he says it means that no one else has this. That is the significance, not even Lakshmi. Kidrishaha adhikrita adhikar vishaykrita. So he says adhikrita means you have made this as your object. Tatra adhikari bhavatibhya eva parameshwarena datto nanyabhya iti bhava. Which means that you are the qualified person for this and no one else. Because Mahabhava manifests only in the gopis and not in anyone else. So it says that Krishna has given this adhikar or this right or eligibility only to you and not to anyone else. And therefore, ateva virahena kartram emam mahan anugraha krita. So it is interesting, he says that it is the viraha which has blessed me. As if viraha or the separation is some living being. That my blessing is by the Viraha. Viraha is the Karta, is the agent, and has done a great welfare to me. Because only in this state of Viraha he could perceive and understand this great Mahabhav. Divyonmada Chitra Jalpadi Mahabhava Bhedan Darshitva iti Bhava. So what is that great welfare or great blessing on me? He says, because of separation, I was able to witness the varieties of Mahabhav in the form of divine madness and this Chitra Jalpa, this divine prattle, talking in an incoherent manner. So I would not see this anywhere else. Yadi bhavati nam virho na abhavishyat tada Krishna namam prasthapeshyat. If there was no separation from Krishna, then Krishna would not send me here. If Krishna was living here, then I will not come here. So because you were feeling separation and Krishna understood this, so he has sent me here as a messenger, and I got the opportunity to see this. Aham chayetad aschariyam nadraksham iti svabhagya paravdhi rukta. Then I would not have seen this most amazing situation of Mahabhav, which I have witnessed now. And therefore he says that this is the ultimate limit of somebody's good fortune. Because what can be better fortune than this, to see gopis in a state of Mahabhav? Not only gopis, but Srimati Radharani herself in the state of Mahabhav and speaking like this. So he says this is the ultimate limit of good fortune. And I have thus been blessed to witness this. So then he says, so all this, first he praises them, and he's not praising just to flatter them, but he's witnessed something and he's unable to hold his joy, his happiness, his experience. He wants to express this. Like you get something very amazing in your life, something very good happens, you want to speak this. So this, you can imagine what an experience he had. So he's speaking, and now he says that I will give you the message of Krishna. Shruyatam priya samdesho bhavati nam sukhavah yamadaya gato bhadra aham bhartur rahaskar. So please listen to the message of your beloved Sri Krishna, which he has sent, and this will bring comfort to you. And I have come here with this message, Yamadaya Gato, O auspicious ladies, I am the confidential servant of your master, your lover, or his own, actually speaking about himself. Aham bhartu rahaskara. He says, I am the reliable, confidential messenger of my master. So means I am trustworthy. What I am going to say is not something which I am making it up, and he trusts me, therefore he has sent me. And he is also speaking in great humility. He is not saying I am his cousin or I am his friend. He could have also said that. So he says, Aham bhartuhu rahaskara, that I am just a carrier of his secret message to you from him, my master. So nanu kim etya eva aramat swaslaghya cha asman santavitum tomihi ayata. So gopis are saying that Is this that just by praising us you want to give solace to us, and it is just for that that you have come here? Means you have come here to pacify us, and you are pacifying us just by giving praise to us. Is this the reason? Kinchad asti va Krishna sandeshadikam asmad dukkhopsamukam tad brohi. Do you have any message from Krishna which will quell our suffering? And if yes, please speak that, and don't just go on praising us. Enough of this praise. So then he says, Shruyatam. Yes, he says, I have a message, please listen. Bhartuhu Krishnasya rahaskara rahaskare karta. Because I am confidential servant of Krishna, I do things for him which he would not trust anyone else. So here is the message. Please listen to that. So then he speaks, which we'll read tomorrow if there is any question to ask. Krishna Saran Baba.
Babaji, I have a couple questions about verse 25.
Wait.
I'm sorry, one moment please.
Cannot hear him.
Mistake here.
I have to turn some switches.
Could you speak again, please?
Should I speak? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, now we can hear. Go ahead.
Okay. I have a couple of questions about verse 25 in the commentary.
Yes.
I guess I have a question, not specifically on the commentary, but on the relationship between this commentary and that of other commentators, or perhaps none of the commentaries, but what might be a natural reading of the verse, in that Chakravarti Pad, by citing this statement from the Ashtadhyayi about a particular usage of the past tense conveying ashamsa, I'm wondering if, with all great regard for Sri Chakravarti Pad, it's a little bit of a stretch, perhaps, and I just want to confirm that the natural reading of the verse would be that you, gopis, have performed bhakti which is unparalleled and difficult to achieve even by munis. And he taking this pravartitar, this past tense, as a reference to the present and adding another agent for the pravartana that's not literally stated in the verse. I just want to confirm if I'm reading these things accurately.
Well, the thing is that the word pravartana has very special meaning. So the meaning which you are giving is actually not a common meaning of the word pravartita. So pravartana is used primarily when you impel or inspire someone else to do something. That is what is called pravartana. This is the big subject of Purmimamsa, that when you have Swarga Kamo Yajet. So Swarga Kamo Yajet means that if you want to go to heaven, you should do yajna. So there is a whole analysis which is done on this. It's quite amazing that just this word yajet, how much they analyze in Purmimamsa. So they say that in yajet there are two parts. One is the dhatu, yaj dhatu, and another is the pratyaling. So ita or yata. And that pratyaya has got two parts to him. One is called akhyat, another is called lingtva. So that lingtva part, which means one should do yajna if one who is desiring heaven. So he says that this, when you hear this statement, so what happens, that it creates a desire in you to do that. So why the desire comes in you? What makes you, what inspires you to do that? From where does that happen? So he says that that is coming because of the pravartana, which is the sabdi bhavana. So bhavetur bhavananukula vyapara bhavana. So that is, it has some sort of force in it, alaukik shakti in it, because Purvamīmansakas do not accept that Vedas are written by anybody. So it is only in the Shabda, and that's why it is called Shabdi Bhavana. In the material world, when someone says do this, then it is in the person. So it is actually the Ichha Vishesh, or it is the intention of the person who is saying. And that intention is known to the other person because of the link suffix. And that when he hears this, it creates, so he obviously he has to have knowledge of the language, then it creates a feeling in him that samam pravartayati, that he is asking me to do this. So suppose a guru tells a disciple, Gam anaya, bring the cow. So when the disciple hears this, so then he thinks that he is asking me, ordering me to bring a cow, which means I have to bring a cow. So when he gets this, then a kriti is generated in him. And that is what is called arthi bhavana. So the sabdi bhavana comes from lingtva, and that is called pravartana. So from that point of view, if you see, then it says pravartita bhakti pravartita dishtya muni namapi. So when you take that meaning of pravartana, which is not out of place, it's a common meaning. If you know Purvamīmansa, this is a very common meaning. Pravartana. Pravartana utpadana. Sai pravartana, sai utpadana. And Kumaril Bhatta writes like that. So therefore he is not just doing some out of place thing. Only thing is that since pravartita is in past and ta pratyaya is used in bhutkala, that does not make sense here. Because where is this pravartana happening? They have not done any pravartana. They are just living, and so he says this pravartana will happen in future. So therefore he says asamshayam bhutvacha, because ta pratyaya is also used in that sense. It's also silarthe ta. Harinamrit Vyakaran also there is sutra like that. So is that clear?
Yeah, so if I understand what you're saying, like in the Shabda Kalpa Druma, pravartana is given as two meanings, pravritti and prerana.
Prerana. So prerana.
You're explaining it, I would say, excuse me.
So prerana is the primary meaning of pravartana. Pravartana, prerana, utpadana, bhavana, they're all synonyms. And they generate pravritti. Pravritti is the outcome of pravartana. So that's how he is taking it. Because it is pravartita. So if you see, he says, bhavati bhir bhakti pravartita. So by you, that is in passive voice, bhakti is pravartita. Means it is, you caused it to happen. That's how it meaning is taken.
But doesn't he say that it's by the followers of you who are going to do the pravartana?
No, the pravartana is done by them, and what they will do, that is called pravritti. Pravritti is the outcome of pravartana. And that's how he wrote it also like that, I think. When you talk about ragatmika bhakti manusritya, raganuga bhaktir lokai kriyamana pracharishyati ityartha. So that is how pravartana leads to pravritti. So there is a Shabdi Bhavana, and Shabdi Bhavana has got three parts to it. So kim bhavyet, katham bhavyet, ken bhavyet. So kim bhavyet, what is it that it is going to produce, and by what it is going to produce, and how it will be produced. So kim bhavyet is arthi bhavana, that is the pravritti. So pravrittim bhavyet, because the one who is going to hear that statement, yajet swarg kamo yajeta, then the pravritti will be generated in him. First gyan will come, then ichha will come, or chikirsha, which means kartum ichha, and then kriti will happen, pravritti will happen. Kriti, pravritti are same thing. So that's how he is applying it. But if you take the meaning of pravartita means you did it, that is also not wrong. Only thing is then still you have to apply it in the present. That much you have to still do. Otherwise it is like they did it in the past and they are not doing it now. So then also you have to say that it is not in the past but in the present.
So like a reading of it in the past, in contrast to the previous verse, meaning that like people in general, they perform bhakti by these other means, but you've performed this unparalleled bhakti, which is rare even for Sikh.
No, they are not performing. He says bhakti is sadhyate, that it is achieved by these things.
Right.
But in your case, you are already perfected. So he's making a contrast.
Anyway, I guess I'm just raising this to see if like there's a middle step, and what Chakravartipad is saying is kind of like a kaimuktinai on top of that.
How?
Well, I mean, if there's a contrast between the past verse and the present verse, and the gopis have done something or accomplished something that others have not, or have done it in a superlative way, and then on top of that, not only have they done something superlative, but they've also created a prekana, then further do something superlative that even sages cannot do, or is difficult for sages to attain.
Yeah, so that is okay. That's good understanding, because I also said that the previous one is only saying that they do sadhana, Krishna bhakti sadhyate, which basically is saying that all these things should be executed only for the sake of attaining Krishna bhakti. That's what he is really intending to mean. Whether it is charity or it is homa, japa, tapa, etc., they should not be done independently for some other purpose, but only for Krishna bhakti. He means nischayatmak. They should be done only for Krishna bhakti. But in your case, you have already attained perfection. So that's okay to think like that. In that case, you can take the meaning of pravartita as pravritta, that you have executed.
One final question, if I have, in the very last statement of the commentary, when he says Dishtya Bhutanam Adibhagyena, that Adibhagya of the people would be in the sense of the bhagya that they've received. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, even if they are not received, but you are propagating it, That is their good fortune. Otherwise, who else is going to propagate it? If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not come, then what will be the bhagya of us? So he is the pravartaka. So then we are fortunate that there is someone to propagate.
Beautiful, thank you, Babaji.
Thank you. Narottamji.
Babaji, Namo Namah. You previously taught us that when someone has a sthāyi bhava, then change to a different rasa is not possible, however intimate and great it may be. However, in the case of Uddhava, we see that although he was very close to Krishna in Mathura, then while seeing the whole episode of Gopi's behavior and their mood towards Krishna, he seems to go through a particular shift of consciousness, if I may, when later he says, Asama Hochara Narayana Jujama Hamsyam, that although he is satisfied with his position, but still he wants something else.
Yeah, so there are two ways to see that. One is that obviously this whole episode is to educate us. So it's to give a contrast of the mood of Uddhava and the gopis to understand how excellent, wonderful, great are the gopis, superior even to Uddhava who is praying like this. And that is another thing, is that even if he has that mood, he can appreciate. Vaishnavas appreciate others' mood. It's not that you cannot appreciate and you think I am the best. So he is appreciating the gopis, but he stays where he is. He prays like that, then he goes.
So there is no further evolution for, if I may say, evolution or change for Uddhava, like having another form in Vrindavana.
Yeah, even if you say, if you want to talk like that, okay, he did, but he still remains Uddhava. People in Braj, they say that he is Uddhav Kyari, he became grass here or whatever, he's sitting there. So these ways you can apply, but that does not mean that he gave up his Thai bhava and just came here. He's still there where he was.
I see, and the main thing is that he recognizes the supremacy of the...
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Krishna Saran Baba, you have something more or just the old hand?
I do. I just was thinking about what you just said, and it inspired in me one more question, if I may.
Yes, please.
When here Chakravarti Pad is describing this prerana, which is going to inspire Raganuga Bhakti to be, the prachar of Raganuga Bhakti to be done by, he just says, the loka. But from the explanation that you're giving, it would seem as if it could be also said that a pravartana is being created in Bhagavan to propagate this. And I'm wondering if you would in that line of thought, see this verse as almost like a precedent for the avatar of Guranga Mahaprabhu.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it, that this can be taken as a, what you call, mention or prediction of Mahaprabhu. It can be taken like that. At least in-house we can speak like that. I would think like this. In fact, it is with that intention that he is translating.
I find that quite interesting.
Yeah. No, yeah, it is true. I also thought like that. Of course, we cannot speak this to others, but we can think ourselves like that. Bhakti pravartita dishtya, and that is our dishtya. That's our great fortune. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.